Imagine this. The year is 1958. Elvis is on the radio. Cadillacs rule the road. And then, a small Japanese sedan lands in America. It's called the Toyota Pet Crown, the very first Japanese passenger car to ever hit U.S. shores. Fast forward 50 years later, Toyota brings the Crown back. But here's the burning question. Can the Crown reclaim its throne, or will the Camry remain king of sedans? In the 1950s, America's roads were dominated by massive land yachts, Cadillacs, Lincolns, Chevrolets, and Fords, big chrome, big fins, big engines. And then came something different. In 1958, Toyota shipped its very first passenger car across the Pacific. It was called the Toyota Pet Crown. For Toyota, still recovering from World War II, this was a bold move. The Crown wasn't just a car, it was their ticket to prove Japan could compete with Detroit's finest. Now, compared to American cars, the Crown was small, but it had charm. Rounded headlights, a comfortable ride, and an interior that felt surprisingly modern for its time. You could even order it in bright colors that stood out on U.S. streets. It wasn't just for wealthy buyers either. Strangely enough, it became popular as taxis, government cars, and company vehicles. For a while, it worked. But there was a problem. Against America's roaring V8s, the Crown was simply underpowered. And while it was smaller, it wasn't cheap. By the 1960s, the American market was shifting. SUVs like the Ford Bronco were exploding in popularity. Toyota saw the writing on the wall. They doubled down on the Land Cruiser, which eventually became a legend. And in 1972, the Crown quietly bowed out of the U.S. market. But in Japan, the Crown thrived. For decades, it was Toyota's flagship executive sedan, the car of choice for politicians, CEOs, even royalty. But in America, though, it vanished, forgotten, until 2023. While the Crown disappeared from U.S. showrooms, Toyota introduced a new sedan in 1983, the Camry. The Camry was the exact opposite of flashy. No giant chrome bumpers, no massive fins, just a simple, affordable, reliable sedan. And that was exactly what Americans wanted. By the 1990s, the Camry had become a household name. Millions were sold. Families loved it. Commuters trusted it. It wasn't exciting, but it was bulletproof. For years, the Camry was America's best-selling car. It survived when rivals like the Ford Taurus, Chevy Malibu, and even Nissan's Maxima struggled or faded away. Even today, when SUVs dominate sales, the Camry still sells in huge numbers. Alongside the Corolla, it keeps Toyota strong in the sedan game. So when Toyota decided to bring the Crown back in 2023, everyone asked, why? Why risk competing with the Camry? In 2023, Toyota shocked the U.S. market. After 50 years, the Crown returned. But this wasn't the same Crown from the 50s and 60s. No, Toyota reimagined it as a bold, premium hybrid sedan. Taller stands, crossover-inspired styling, big wheels, a sloping roofline, and an interior that looked almost Lexus-like. The goal wasn't to replace the Camry. Instead, it replaced the Avalon, Toyota's older full-size luxury sedan. But here's the challenge. Americans are buying fewer sedans every year. SUVs are king. So why launch a luxury sedan now? Simple. The Crown gives Toyota a bridge. It gives buyers a taste of Lexus luxury without paying full Lexus prices. And it lets Toyota keep one foot in the premium sedan market even as rivals abandon it. All right, let's talk numbers, because this is where things get really interesting. The Camry starts at $28,700 for the LE, tops out at $34,900 for the XSE. Add about $1,500 if you want all-wheel drive. The Crown starts at $41,440 for the XLE, tops out at $54,990. The Nightshade I drove was just under $50,000. That's a $7,000 to $20,000 gap between the two cars. So what are you really paying for? Dimension-wise, surprisingly little. The Crown is only 2.6 inches longer and 3.7 inches taller. Both share the same wheelbase at 111.2 inches. Even trunk space is identical at 15.2 cubic feet. So if size isn't the difference, it's the interior, tech, and driving experience where the Crown pulls ahead. Inside, the Camry is simple, clean, and familiar. Higher trims even offer red leather seats, giving it a sporty edge. But in base form, you get an 8-inch screen and a standard Toyota shifter. The Crown, though? Different league. Standard 12.3-inch touchscreen across all trims. Premium JBL sound system with a dedicated subwoofer. Sleek copper trim accents across the dashboard. Leather-wrapped steering wheel and Lexus-like seats. The seating position is low and sporty, but visibility stays solid. I usually raise my seat a bit for confidence, but even at default, I could see over the hood just fine. My only gripe? The footwells. Both the Camry and the Crown have trim pieces that curve inward, restricting space. Taller or broader drivers might find it tight. Still, the Crown feels premium in a way the Camry doesn't. It's not quite a Lexus RX, but it's closer than any Toyota sedan I've ever sat in. In 2025, Toyota made a bold move. The Camry is now hybrid only, no more V6. The Camry runs a 2.5-liter four-cylinder hybrid system, making 232 horsepower. The Crown uses the same engine in its lower trims, but if you step up to the Platinum, you get the Hybrid Max, a 2.4-liter turbocharged hybrid making 340 horsepower. The Nightshade I tested had the standard 232 HP setup, and honestly, it felt plenty quick. In sport mode, acceleration was strong, and the exhaust note was surprisingly pleasant. Unless you really crave power, the Platinum's extra horsepower may not be worth the $4,000 jump. Where the Crown really shines is ride quality. The Camry has a fixed suspension, comfortable, but tuned differently depending on trim. The SE and XSE are sportier, while the XLE is smoother. The Crown features adaptive variable suspension. It constantly adjusts damping in real time, softening over bumps, stiffening in corners, and reducing body roll. Add in Michelin Primacy touring tires on 21-inch matte black wheels, and the Crown feels planted, confident, and far more dynamic than you'd expect from a sedan this size. So, is the Crown a threat to the Camry? Honestly, no. The Camry remains Toyota's bread and butter. Affordable, reliable, efficient. Perfect for families, commuters, and professionals. The Crown instead competes with something else, the LX ES. Both target the same buyer, someone who wants comfort, style, and a touch of luxury without going full-on German premium. Here's the twist. The Crown might actually undercut the LX ES, offering similar features and size for less. But the ES has one advantage, a futuristic interior that feels more advanced. The bigger risk for the Crown isn't the Camry or the Lexus, it's the US market itself. At nearly $50,000, in a world obsessed with SUVs, will Americans really buy a luxury sedan from Toyota? The Crown's return proves one thing. Toyota still believes in sedans. But the market is changing fast. SUVs dominate sales charts. EVs are on the rise, and sedans keep shrinking year after year. The Crown may survive as a niche model, appealing to loyal sedan fans who don't want an SUV, but unless Toyota redefines what a sedan means for the next generation, the Crown could struggle again, just like it did back in the 70s. So, after spending time with the 2026 Toyota Crown Nightshade, here's my take. If you want a reliable, efficient, and affordable sedan for daily life, the Camry is still king. It's the all-rounder. But if you want something with Lexus-like luxury, bold styling, and premium tech without paying Lexus money, the Crown is waiting. Will it succeed this time in America? Or repeat history as a car ahead of its time? That's the million-dollar question. If you made it this far, thank you for joining me on this deep dive. Now, I want to hear from you. Would you spend nearly $20,000 more for the Crown or stick with the tried-and-true Camry? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be checking them all. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button so more car fans see this video. Subscribe if you love deep dives into car history and reviews, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss what's coming next. This is Motion Shed,